Dale Helgeson with the Outdoor Experience here. I have the pleasure of interviewing Ken Clark from Fishmish Charters. And Ken, I know you're a well-renowned fisherman, especially in the Michigan area. We want to know a little bit about Ken. How did you get into fishing?
Good. All right, thanks for having me, Dale. I've been fishing all my life. Started fishing when I was probably 3 with my grandpa and my dad. Grew up bluegill fishing, and I did that until 1987. 1987, I caught a walleye, and my life changed forever. So since then, I've been a walleye snob.
So as you progressed fishing walleyes, when did you decide that this is where you want to make it your basic living now?
Well, I have 4 sons, all within 3.5 years. And when I used to golf, and then when I started fishing, my wife was like, man, you fish a lot. And I would kind of be away from my sons and spending money on fishing. And so at one point I said, hey, what if I made money doing this? Well, wives kind of like money.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. So it was like, wait a minute, you could. So now all of a sudden, when I went fishing, I was making money, and then it was okay.
So, did you start guiding right away, or did you jump into the tournament series?
So I started walleye fishing in '87, and my saying is, anything worth doing is worth doing to excess. So if I'm going to do it, I do it. So I would fish basically every night after I got out of work for a little while, and I really enjoyed it. And so from 1987 to the middle 90s, 94, 95, I said, I gotta start doing this and making money at it. So 1995, I actually got licensed as a charter captain and started chartering. But then I had enough time still to do tournaments to kind of help get my name out in the industry. So I started tournament fishing too in the late 90s.
So where do you primarily guide out of?
So I actually charter on 20 different lakes and rivers in Michigan, Illinois, Ohio. However, I'm scaling back a little bit. So primarily I do Detroit River, St. Clair River, Lake Erie, Saginaw Bay, and then Burton Mullet Lakes in the fall.
So do you strictly fish walleye, or do you do multi-species?
Sometimes people will want to bass fish, and I know I catch a lot of bass when I'm walleye fishing, so I'll say, okay, we're bass fishing, but we're really walleye fishing. But I will perch fish a little bit too.
So what are some of your favorite techniques for taking these clients out? Because client fishing is different than tournament fishing, as you know.
Absolutely.
Tournament fishing, we're looking for 5 of the right fish. In charter fishing, it's numbers. It's a number game. Size isn't as important because it's a number game.
Right.
So what is your favorite techniques to target those fish for your clients?
Well, you're kind of asking 2 different questions there. One is for my clients, I always trolling. Trolling is easy. I always say my cat can troll. That's easy. It's easy fishing, and you can have kids do it. So basically all they have to do is reel in fish. I can tell you my favorite is jigging. We always say trolling is for people who can't jig. That's a joke, sorry. But especially when we're here with church tackle. So jigging is my favorite. Trolling is by far the most effective.
So when you go out on the rivers, because rivers are different than lakes.
Absolutely.
So, when you're river trolling, are you running your church boards, or are you doing more hand lining? Because I know that's big in the Detroit River. Are you pole rod lining, or what types of techniques are you using?
So I'm going to start fishing the end of March on Detroit River. And what I do is one of 2 things typically with customers. You can't really hand line with customers because that's a 2-person kind of thing, up to 2. What I do is either vertical jig with a 1-ounce weight with a rubber worm something, rubber fish, and a stinger hook. Or what's happened recently, and I know you're accomplished pro in the head-to-head fishing, a couple of years ago, those folks really kind of opened some eyes locally to cast a smaller jig with a piece of plastic without a stinger hook in some pretty shallow water, and even be anchored in doing it.
Yep.
Be anchored with your trolling motor. So you're either vertical jigging or casting.
So I've been thinking about this thing with these church boards, right? Actually, I thought the 12 would work best. I want your opinion, and this springing this on you. What do you think about the shore fishermen on Erie using a planer board to pull their baits away from the shore to cover a bigger swath out there in the water?
If you're a young enough person and you got enough shore, I think that is a good thing. You know, it's something that could work. You might not even need the 12. You might be able to do it with the TX6,
yeah,
the little smaller board. What, along those same lines, what people are doing, the point is there's got to be water coming across a planer board for it to plane. So what a lot of people do is they'll use it in a river from shore, or they'll use it on a pier where there's water going by, and they can get it out to the side.
So tell people how they can get a hold of you to book a charter with you.
So again, I'm Ken Clark, Fishmas Charters. My phone number is 231-740-2614, or it's I have a website, fishmascharters.com, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Well, thanks for taking the time with me today, and stay tuned for more on the Outdoor Experience.
Thanks.
Come on down with me, get your fishing line. We'll be doing all the fun things that cause us to be losing track of time. Come on down with me, grab your rod, you'll find maybe in a little bit we all gonna be doing just fine. Hey, what you doing? Got a head for the dough. Well, we don't have to slave for Uncle Sam no more.